Let's go. And we're back for another one. Underground World News Live. Here on this November 17th, 2025. Good evening. Crown Jewels in the house. Pixie in the house. Gabe, Eon, Skeeby, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steely, for the super chats. Right out the gate, Barb, Beach Girls, E Fitz, Geo. Starting off with a shot from you here tonight. Thank you for the feedback, everybody. Academy, Magni, Apocalypso, Bone Score. Good to see everybody, man. As always, got a lot to cover around the world. Yeah, I got a little tidbit specifically for you guys in the UK here in a bit. That's interesting. That I think that you might find interesting. Okay, anything to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. You can at me, as Gabriel just did. Much love, God bless. Right there in the chat, Yeshua's King. And it lights it up in red. Gets my attention a little bit better when you do it that way. And yeah, thank you for all the love and support. Thank you to everybody out there that shares the stream, anyone that supports coffees, PayPal, super chats, all that. It's all appreciated. Ava, Much love, Dark Wolf. And yeah, man, where to begin? Of course, you've got all the Epstein stuff, right? Flying around out there. We're going to dive into all that. And just all the hot topics that's been floating around out there today. And then some. So, got some things to cover. Again, thank you, Gio, for all the shots. I've been saving them. I've still got Aurora picks saved, and I'll be trying to, as the shows go on, I'll be trying to dip into that arsenal and use some of those images. A thank you to everybody that sends them my way. So we're going to start off here up in space. It's been pretty active. It's not right now, thankfully, because this sunspot moved around the sun. It's on the backside of the sun. But the 4274, I believe it was, that was facing us, it was ripping off X flares. Yeah, it was 4274, no longer facing Earth. It's got about a 2-week trip around the backside or the far side of the sun. We'll see what it looks like when it comes back around. Sometimes these things die out. Sometimes they grow larger. We are in the top of a solar cycle, and a lot of people got to see auroras this past week that have never seen them. That's pretty cool. If it happens again, I'll make sure to keep you guys in the know, give you the heads up. All we can do is watch the CMEs and kind of whatever storm alert they're putting out. Usually anything above G3, G4, G5, you have a chance for that. And it all depends on where it hits on Earth as well. So, I also want to help clear up a little bit of confusion here with Atlas. If it was up to me, I'd make sure that all these objects out there have a different name, period. Just to make sure there's no confusion. Well, when you've got an object like the one I'm showing you here called the Golden Comet, it is C2025 K1 Atlas. But this is not 3I Atlas. And this is where some confusion keeps coming into play. People tripping out like it broke apart, but it didn't. Not 3I didn't. 3I is intact. And we're going to go over some of the anomalies here in just a second. Thank you, John, for the coffee. Much love. Look right here. You'll see this one has fragmented. It looks like it's falling apart. You can see right there. Or at least it's in a couple pieces. Shifting around. This is all I've seen of it. I haven't seen. You really need a few more frames here to see what's going on. But they're saying it's breaking apart. So when you hear about Atlas breaking apart, this one is. And I wanted to show you guys and just clarify. There's a difference between that and 3I Atlas. And the saga continues in terms of the tails, anti-tails, or jets, whatever you want to call them. There's something really weird going on. If you missed it, they have logged, we'll call it the 12th anomaly. 12th anomaly connected to this thing. And thank you, Barnes. Yeah, eyes to the skies. Much love. I've gone over all these anomalies, man, many times. I don't want to sound like a stuck record, but I do want to mention the new ones that pop up. And the new one here is that there's a main jet, a short, stubby one, facing, and you can see it on the left here. It's facing toward the sun. On the way in, you really couldn't tell that there was anything. As it got closer to the sun, they're like, hold on, it looks like it's got this stubby little anti-tail going toward the sun, which makes no sense because anything that's kicking off any debris, the solar wind kicks it back, and that's how you get the long, beautiful tail behind a comet. And normally, that debris is streaming off of the entire rock, off the entire comet. The whole thing is going through sublimation, which usually that's ice melting, going around the sun. And as I just showed you, most of them don't make it. They'll break apart. They'll fall apart. They'll disintegrate. So the thing with 3I Atlas is when it just went around the sun, it started to give off this massive tail, as you can see up here to the right, but there's multiple jets. There's like 5 different jets and potentially 2 facing the other way. Now, the strange part about this, much love, Brian, is that they are staying locked into position as this thing is rotating. I don't know if you've ever seen one of them sprinkler heads that kind of like they rotate and spin around. All the water comes out kind of in a twisted way. That's how this thing's spinning, and that's how a normal comet spins and gives off all the gases through the jets. You can see it doing this. But those jets move as the comet's spinning, obviously, because if there's like a jet, there's a hole where stuff's coming out and this thing's spinning and moving, well, then it too is going to move. Not with this thing. They're staying locked into position. And I don't know, this thing, like every few days, there's something new. And you can see off this shot in the very, very core of it, it's showing something a little bit different. It's been a solid, and it still is, a solid, tight nucleus. But now, for whatever reason, in the very dead center, you can see a dark spot. Look, this thing has still not come close to Earth. Its closest approach to Earth is roughly a month from now, December 19th. So from here on out, all the images should get better and better and better. It's moving away from the glare of the sun. We're actually kind of moving toward it as it's moving away toward Jupiter. And again, we still have to have a close encounter with this thing. We're still getting closer to it, should I say. So that makes for better odds, better chances of getting some good shots, man. Anyhow, that's the latest anomaly. And it did deviate off the course. Now, there were some people out there, and I covered this in a video earlier, and I dropped it in an updated video. I put out all the newest images, a series of them, from the different places. I talked about where they came from, and we kind of zoomed in and we looked. One of the, I guess some people out there are saying that this thing, it deviated off course. Some are saying by like 30%, and some are saying like 30% and toward Earth with the curvature. And I dove into that, and I could find no proof, no evidence anywhere updating showing that. But what I could find is that it did deviate course. It has changed course. Just not by 30%. They already told us earlier by like some 16%. When it went around the sun, it shifted. It actually kicked sideways. But it's like perfectly round in nature in most of these shots. Let me look at the next one here. All right, here we go. This is the latest shot. Starting to look a bit more like a comet in terms of looking up and seeing something with a tail. The problem is that it shouldn't be there. For this much debris to be there, it should have been forming for the past 1 to 3 months. They keep saying this. And for this much debris to be there, the object should be gone. It should be like disintegrated, but it's not. I don't know. All we can do is watch this thing. And I'm really looking forward to the coming week or two as we get as close as we can to this. It's core in some of these shots. This is what people are getting. They're just getting. It's just this bright circular core. This is why they said in the beginning it looked like it had some kind of headlight on it, or an interior light, almost like a little sun coming through, giving off its own light, not reflecting. Now that the story's changed with this thing so many times. They said that it only had 4% water ice on it. So there's no way in the world that everything that's getting kicked out here is that. There's no way. What is it? Well, the government's back open. Maybe NASA will drop something. Now I want to say this before I forget. Do you know what this week is? This is the week that they finally start to drop these images, right? That they've been hiding. That they're scheduled to. They even come out and said this week they were going to start unloading these images. We're going to see what they give us. If anything's doctored, missing anything, or if it's raw, it's real, it's crazy. This Friday, on the 21st, they are dropping Disclosure. Disclosure. The documentary, it's something that they've been talking about all year. What's his name? All the people have been talking about, like, this is it. Guys that have seen aliens and all this other stuff and seen the craft and worked on them, like all the biggest ever, is coming out in this Disclosure documentary. It may be how it's done. It may not just be Trump coming out on TV and saying, oh, there's aliens or anything like that. No. It's going to be from these people that have dealt with it, like from the horse's mouth. And again, they showed us this year them shooting a UFO with a Hellfire missile. And most of the freaking audience, most of the sheep just kept on pushing, acting like it didn't happen. Acting, just like we do, turning a cheek, looking the other way with everything else. Acting like pedos ain't running the show. It's getting ridiculous, man. People about to start getting checked on it. Anyhow, this thing is a mystery. Disclosure's coming on Friday. Images are coming by Friday. I find it kind of weird. The timing is right there with both. They're going to be dropping images right about the same time as this Disclosure is going to be dropping. There's never been anything like it of this magnitude, this size, for everything else. And you can bet they're going to have something. There's something huge is going to come of it. There's going to have to be some kind of big admission, something new, something better, something bigger, bolder, badder. They're going to have to show something. Will they? Because they just showed us them hitting a UFO or a UAP with a Hellfire missile. It blew into 3 pieces, and the pieces didn't fall to the ground. It didn't crash. They stayed flying with it. We're dealing with something mind-blowing. And again, the sheep are so stupid and ignorant over here. They don't say nothing. Okay? Well, we will. Talk about the obvious, the elephant in the room here. They're blowing these objects up that can continue to fly after we hit them with missiles. How can you contend with that? Everyone, that right, it was almost like a litmus test. The people are so docile. They didn't even respond. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Any other intelligence watching this, it's embarrassing. But yet, that dumbed down crowd is what's got us in this. Okay, what did you say here? 3 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, NASA will host an event to drop a plethora of 3-eye atlas imagery collected by the ground-based. Thank you for the update. There you go. Good timing. So we'll have them on Wednesday. So by the next show, we should be able to go over all those images as I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about that. I look forward to seeing all these backyard astronomers um, that are the real deal, because you always get the raw, real deal from them. NASA and all them, so they're known to doctor everything, and lie. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting either way. We'll break it down when we approach it, but this object is unique. It's unlike anything ever before. I say it deserves its own classification. Well, with the Muamua, they definitely belong in their own class. They're not. I attach intelligence to a Muamua for sure. Everything that we've seen from it, and it's kind of like they don't deny that. And with this, they just sat there with their mouth shut the entire time, letting Avi Loeb do all the talking, and looking like a little bit of a nutcase because he brings up the mothership theory that there could be thrusters, or he said you got to keep your mind open. It could be something technological attached to something natural, or vice versa, some kind of probe, some kind of anything. It could be ancient. I lean toward that whatever it is, it's obviously trying to creep through the solar system, masquerading as a comet. What are you going to do about it either way? Is my thing. If you had a more advanced civilization, maybe you could approach it if it's in your solar system, something like that. But something this size coming through, man, it's interesting. We'll update more when we get the images. Keep it pushing. All right, jumping into other news here. We have a New York Jets player, Chris Boyd, fighting for his life after a late night shooting in Manhattan. And I've heard already the things have turned up a notch or two, getting chaotic in NYC, just from people that email me, people send me stories and things like that. And we're going to cover some of that. And this is one of those things. New York Jets player just out late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. It was 2 a.m. He gets shot in the abdomen. This was near 7th Avenue, West 38th Street, near 7th Avenue. They don't know why, but he's fighting for his life at Bellevue Hospital. They don't know who did it. The person's on the run. You're just going to see more and more of this. When people are out there trying to rob someone, as soon as there's a rejection, like I'm not giving you nothing or something like that, that's when a shot's fired or something like that. They don't care who the person is. They could see him wearing some bling, wearing some nice stuff, and that's what gets him targeted. You really can't be doing that out in public anymore. And look, people find this out the hard way. Like you cannot do this. You can't be out there with like, $500,000 worth of jewelry blinging off you and gear and all this other stuff, and not have a hater out there try to hit you. I mean, that's what it's happened to so many people. That's what happened to Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke was flaunting on social media, putting out their images of where he was staying, and he slipped up and he let it be seen, the address in the background of where they were at, and hitters, young juvenile hitters, showed up, snuck into the Airbnb where he was at, and killed him. Look, man, this ain't no joke. People better start getting serious about security and all these types of things, man, because I just think it's gonna level up, keep leveling up, especially in the bigger cities where it's just crazier, man. It always has been, always will be. It's always gonna be crazier in the inner city, especially the big cities, LA, New York, Chicago. It's the way that it is. If you've never been to places like that, man, it's a different animal. Walking through the streets of big cities like that is it's a different animal. For sure. Way different than your regular size city, like your Indianapolis's, Lexington, Cincinnati's, Pittsburgh's, like they're way bigger. I never forget the first time I ever saw NYC. Man, it like stuck in my mind. Like I wasn't expecting it. Like we were driving, and like boom, there the skyline came, and it was just these big, huge buildings, and like forever, as far as you could see in every direction, it was like nuts. I was like, wow, it like that impression stuck on me forever. I mean, New York City is big, it's huge, and seeing it from the Jersey side, entering it, and all that. I mean, it's damn shame that it's getting hijacked right now. Is people to sit back, and we're gonna talk about that here in a minute too. First off, we've got an Alaska Airlines pilot who tried to cut the plane's engine off, and I reported on that. He did it mid-flight, tried to kill 83 people. He walks free because of the system. It doesn't matter if you've got Trump in there or what. When you've got an Obama judge here, Clinton judge there, Bush judge here, like it just doesn't matter. Like this whole thing's so rigged and set up. It's really a setup. Here is a crazy story. Let's talk about this for a second, because someone out there might be in a situation like this. You might want to look at the details and see, I don't know, like what's going on here. I kind of talked about something similar to this a few weeks ago, but we got a Michigan man here. He guns down a teen that broke into his garage. And now this man is charged with multiple crimes, including manslaughter, despite the state itself having a stand your ground law. Okay. So the man on the right here killed a youth who broke into his garage. There was actually several youths. They say that the 17-year-old Syvan Wilson and 6 other, mainly teenagers, broke into 24-year-old Dayton Napton's garage. This was in White Lake, just after 1 a.m. on July 8th. Napton received an alert from his home security system. He grabbed his 9mm, and they say he took the fatal action to resolve the situation. The Oakland County Prosecutor's Office alleged that Napton left his house and fired 2 shots through a windowless locked door. She left the house. She went outside the house and fired 2 shots through a windowless locked door, I guess back into the house, which sent the burglars fleeing. Remember, I reported on an incident here recently where a guy was held at gunpoint getting robbed. He went outside, did the same thing. He came back, in the building had like a drive-through window, and he unloaded into the window, even killed a couple of them. He got acquitted. He got away with it. It's all about where you're at, where you're living, and the rules and all this. But even in this, with a stand your ground law, they're hitting this man. They're saying that he went back inside the house, reloaded the gun, and returned to the scene, which probably doesn't help him at all. Wilson, the guy shot, fled the scene with his cronies, but he was struck by one of the bullets. And unfortunate for him, he didn't get any medical care for like 30 minutes, and he bled out. So investigators determined one of the bullets fired by Napton through the locked door struck Wilson, and another teenager was hit also but survived. But they're charging him with multiple crimes, including manslaughter, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, and 2 counts of felony firearm. And that's just crazy to me. He faces up to 15 years for manslaughter, 10 years for assault, and 4 years for the 2 counts of felony firearm. That's like 30 years in prison for defending his castle, defending his base. Okay? He's pled not guilty. He's been given $200,000 cash bond. And remember, the other guy was found guilty at first and fought it and won it. That's excessive. Now, I told a story here recently about one of my buddies that in a certain situation. He killed someone, and they were inside the house. A dude broke in, was beating the crap out of him and his girlfriend. It was his girlfriend's ex-old man that just got out of prison. And it was crazy. He was trying to, beat the crap out of him, take him out, knock him out, and do him harm. And my buddy bailed out of the house, went next door, which is the neighbor, got a gun, and went back because he wasn't going to leave the female there to get killed or anything else. Went back, and when he did, he made his way through the house and got to the front. And the guy was on the front porch and turned to come back in at him, and he shot him. And the guy fled out into the street and bled out and died. And my buddy went to prison for some years for it, which we all thought was garbage, because how they got him, where the prosecutors got him, was that when he bailed out and he went to the neighbors and he got a gun, he could have called 911. It's probably where they're going to get this guy too. Okay? They at least tried or attempted. Now, if he was on the phone at 911 and dude's making his way back in the house, come attack, then that's a whole different story, as they're saying. At least you tried. And if the dude's trying to attack, dude's trying to attack. Now, my friend, again, he wasn't leaving a girl in there to get beat and killed or anything else, so he was going back in. That was his defense. But they ultimately got him, that, and also on the fact that I think that he was already a felon, for like past weed crap in his younger days or whatever, and they hit him for being a felon with a gun also on top of all that crap. So it didn't help anything. So he went to jail. You just never know, man. Like, I cover these stories because every state's different, every situation is different. You may think that, whatever, but I don't know. If somebody's rolling up on you and you think your life is in danger and they got a gun in their hand, especially, that's the big thing. If they have a weapon, they never reported none of these kids had a gun. That was the thing, or a weapon to put his life in danger. Now, if you would have seen them on camera with a gun, or a knife, or any kind of weapon, or a knife, or anything, any kind of weapon coming at your home, then that's a whole different ballgame. And I was taught in concealed carry class a long time ago that, which we don't have to have a concealed permit in Kentucky anymore. It's constitutional, but they always told us that, if somebody broke in your home and they're running out the door, and they're like 50 feet out the door, running away, and you shoot them in the back, like, you're going to end up getting in trouble. But, like, if they're coming at you, breaking, that's a whole different story. It's all about the perspective of the whole thing. Here, like, did you really fear for your life is what they're going to be looking at. And did you have justification to kill somebody? And obviously, if somebody's breaking into your house, then there's a justification right there. But if they're fleeing, getting out, fleeing, that's what they said. But there was always asterisks. I remember the lady was like, but if you look out your window and somebody's sitting out there and they have a gas can and they have matches and they're about to light your stuff on fire, you can shoot them. That's what she told us. And we went back and forth talking, asking questions about the whole thing. And there's like, every state's different. But I took that class, to gain that knowledge for those things. But again, every state's different, man. All I'm saying is, somebody's busting down your door and like kicking in the door to come and do you harm. Like, in my book, you got a right to defend yourself all day, but you got to be wise. Like I said, you buck a shot, you miss, or even you hit them, they turn around and they run. If they got a gun, it's a different story. If they're shooting or anything like that, but if they're obviously fleeing, that's what they're going to be looking for. I don't know. We'll see. I'll update on this. We got another United fight. Getting a bomb threat. These things are not going away. Another one. They had to make an emergency landing. This was a flight going from Dallas to Chicago. Forced to make this emergency landing in St. Louis. So it happened mid-air. We're seeing more and more of this. So, I don't know. Just keeping track of it. All right, let's jump into some of the economic stuff. Everything with China obviously affects what we're doing out here, what we're buying, the price of it. This whole tariff game with Trump, it's all propped up around a big war right now, basically with like China. Compare this back to like a Cold War with Russia. Real news, man. Much love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good to see you. He told us here recently there was a deal. And then they also came out and said, oh, yeah, there's a deal for the farmers and everything else. But then they turn around, China's like, nope, we're not buying American soybean. So our farmers are like back to being screwed over. In terms of the rare earths, like nothing. It's still just sitting there stagnant. Nothing going on. And there's a lot of different variables when it comes to China. I'm telling you, this is a setup. It's a setup. Most huge events that affect history are staged by wicked hands. And there's always got to be a bad guy, playing the other side to make this whole thing work for them. China is obviously trying to knock us off our perch, and they want to be like the world leader. And they want to do this in so many ways, economically, militarily. But they're declining, and they have their own big issues ongoing. And they've already shown that, like, when you remove the American economy from them, they're hurting bad. They depend on that. They depend on flooding America with all their cheap electronics and knockoffs that they steal all the time. When we take that away, they're hurting. There's no other way around it. It's our economies have been built off the backs of one another for a long time. They set it up that way. For decades, it's been this way. Walk in any place, flip over a lamp in a room or something, or your freaking clock over in the corner, your alarm clock, and it says made in China, made in China. All this stuff made in China, all over the place. It's always been like this. Okay? So there's also other countries that are like tied in like that also with deals. I've discussed India in the past, and the whole gas station thing, and the grants, and how we don't get that being American-born citizens. They don't come to us like, oh yeah, you get a grant to go start your gas station. You don't have to pay us back. Like, nobody ever looked out for me like that. Instead, I get called some right-wing extremist, neo-Nazi, and all these names. But you're giving foreigners through these deals money and like a business and like a life, and like not giving Americans a chance. And that pisses me off. I got one H-1B, the whole visa scam here in a second as well. But I want to point out that Taiwan is talking about buying Bitcoin. Well, if you didn't see today, Bitcoin's puking blood. It's like, it's tanking out. It was like 93,000. It was up above 100,000. If you guys don't know, it was, up there, and it's dropping out now, which is the way the market goes. I've been waiting on this for a while. This was a prolonged bear market for Bitcoin, but it's pulling back, and you started to see all this FUD, which is negative news that brings it down. And it was just yesterday, the day before, I look right there in my feed, and what's it say? Eric Trump is liquidating all of his Bitcoin, all of his crypto. Like, what is going on? People are flipping out. I'm like, this is the same Eric Trump and them that brought you Trump coin, scammed you, Melania coin, didn't scam you once, had to get you twice. They're like, they're so stupid. Let's just make one Melania's name. Let's get them twice. And they did. And it worked. I mean, these dudes push coins out here that mean nothing. There's Fart Coin out there. It's got billions of dollars in market cap. Okay, it's ridiculous. But not now. Now they're selling. So this is the name of the game. You got to take profits at some point. I was telling the guys before, our target was like between 120 and 130 top on this cycle and set a short. set it short, and write it down. I didn't get a chance to do none of that, but the call happened exactly as I called it. Look, there's so much scammy stuff out there in this game, and with crypto and sites and hacks and all this stuff. I've seen it all throughout these years, man. And I've warned you about all the stuff with blockchain. The blockchain could be good if you got good people running the show. But as long as you got bad people running the show, anything connected to it, it's just basically going to be used to track you, to track everything, especially if it's used for currency and buying things that can track every purchase. They're going to want to come around and tax it, every bit of it. You see how that works? It's a trap. So they don't want to admit. Listen to this. Listen to this. They don't want to admit their deep connection with Bitcoin, but they're already busted. We done figured this out. It's almost common sense at this point. Like, if they didn't make it, do you think that they would allow it in this country? Like, get out of here. You think they would allow it in here? No way. If this was China's baby or something like that, Russia's, no way. It'd be banned, outlawed, flat, outright. They didn't have control of it, but no. You can invest it into your 401k. You can buy it on Coinbase right now. You all over do anything you want with it. They wanted to be the leaders in this. Right? I seen a headline tonight that said that Trump is open to allowing agencies to go after Americans on foreign crypto exchanges. That's right. Did you vote for that? You're Gentile Messiah now, turning the tables. This is disgusting. He told you no CBDC. Signed an executive order. Threw it out there. And I hate to keep calling. I don't want it to sound like I'm calling names. Like this is high school. It's not. But it's the reality of the situation. These people here are stupid. Okay? He throws them an executive order. Like a bone to a dog. And they sit there chewing on it. Like, seriously, that's how it is. They're that dumbed down. Because he turned around right with the other hand and he gave them Trump coin and Melania coin. And they bought it. Like, oh, what's that? Oh, Trump, I'll take it. Like, hold on. Stop. Why did you not like CBDC? I don't even think half of you even knew. Now, I'm not talking to you guys, but I'm talking to them. I don't think they knew. They just heard CBDC was bad and like lemmings just repeated it. They heard us talking about it, but still couldn't even stick around the conversation to figure out why it was bad. That's the pathetic part. Ridiculous. Okay? Because if they did, they would have seen when Trump came around with the other hand and gave them Trump coin and Melania, they would have went nuts. They would be like, what are you doing? Playing us like a fool? But they didn't. They didn't. They bought in high. And then Eric Trump and Barron, the guys that put it together, dumped it. It was all downhill from there. And they made bukus. They made a ton. The Trump family did. Millions beyond millions beyond millions. Oh, it's scamming the base. Trump's base. Sure did. Sure did. And that same base. Now he's sitting there saying, oh, yeah, if you're out there on another platform outside of the U.S., I'm going to let them come get you. Like, really? I mean, that's just as bad as turning around to everybody that was concerned about the pedo thing and him saying, F all y'all. Like, dude, this is bad. You wonder why the market is dumping out? Yeah, I just told you. This is FUD season. Expect everything in the kitchen sink to drive it down like 77,000 probably. Who knows? The right events, they could sink this thing way down. But I'm gonna tell you like this though. With these times, it presents an opportunity. I will say this. There's a pullback. Gold's been on a tear, silver, and I told you whenever they pull back, buy the dip. That's the name of the game. Don't sit there and stare at it. Don't spend your whole stack at $1,000. Buy $250 worth on that dip and sit there. See what it does. If it pulls back even more, you average in is what you do. But if it takes off running, well, guess what? At least you bought the dip. That's the name of the game. Because it's going to keep gold, silver, and that's going to keep running. It's going to hit 5,000. It's going to go bananas. Gold's not going to. Gold's the real deal, obviously. Bitcoin's this manufactured, synthetic, digital currency that they made their baby. So this is the craziest part from this week. Epstein stuff came out, right? And we're going to dive into that here in a bit. Got a whole segment on that we're going to touch on. But the emails got kind of splashed out there all over the place. People were kind of tearing them apart. And there's all these different headlines from all this different stuff. And people spinning it different ways. But one thing that really stood out was an email that Epstein had sent out to someone, and he was explaining who all was going to be at this meeting, party meeting, whatever, this get together. And he has all these names on there. It's so freaking interesting. In the list of names, it says Satoshi, Bitcoin. Right there. This is way back. These are super old, emails before this. This was before anybody even knew what Bitcoin was, pretty much at this point. And there's proof in these emails that Epstein knew who Satoshi was and knew him, knew who the person was, whoever they're going to pin this on. And obviously it's connected to the U.S. government. It's to the Mossad. The same. It's always back to the same hand. Always. Okay. So, Taiwan is doing this against China with this whole Bitcoin thing here. So, it's obviously the United States baby. And what this means is if China tries to cut off all their stuff over there, they could lean on this heavy to pay for things, for banking, for all this other stuff. So it's an option for them. It's a hedge. You want to have a hedge out there if you can. Obviously, gold's a really good one. Let me keep on pushing here. Look at this. Our U.S. debt rose by $620 billion during this shutdown. This record shutdown. Insane. Just nuts. U.S. debt rose by almost $750 billion. Why they just shut down? Bickering. So when you would look at the world's debt, look at this. World debt to the United States. We own 34.5% of the global debt. China behind at 16.8, and then Japan at 8.9. And you can see it's lit up in red. Now, Silver Sailor, you out there? I seen you post that tonight in my notifications that Japan just, I don't know what they do to go into default. You're like, everyone has 30 days. Well, I told you, I've been saying it for show after show. I've been warning you about France, Germany, Japan specifically. Just go back and listen. If that's the case, then it's begun. We know that this is the plan here, and it probably will take, several months for all this to affect every country as it starts to unravel. And then by the time spring gets here, right on cue, Mar-a-Lago Accord is going to go into effect, and the whole global reset is going to be underway. So you got Japan, Watch it. Look at the Vietnamese. They know something's going on. They're cracking down on people buying gold, hoarding it, or even having it. We just crossed $4,000 an ounce, here recently. And all of a sudden, countries are starting to act funny with the gold already. I talked about India before and how much gold's used there for like ornaments and jewelry and for a lot of their different ceremonies and things like that. Like gold's big in India just for that type of stuff, trinkets. So the Vietnamese, I mean, everybody around the world collects gold for different reasons. There's jewelry and things like that. But I mean, wedding rings and look at the Egyptians and all kinds of, they have different kinds of jewelry and stuff people wear. But the Vietnamese government is cracking down, man. When you see this is not a good sign. When governments start to make a move toward gold, because when a couple start to do it, the other government's going to sit around like, man, can we get away with doing it? And I said that about us. Like, where's the gold in Fort Knox? They've never shown us. They were all ready and gung-ho. Oh, we got cameras. We're going in there this week. Blah, blah, blah. Never went. Instead, Elon gets kicked out of Doge or quits Doge, leaves. It's never mentioned again. Never mentioned again by them. Literally, we keep saying it. Other people are saying it, but they're like trying to not acknowledge it. Why? You've had time for an audit because they said they called for an audit. I mean, right then, if the vaults were empty, you should have known. Of course, unless you're keeping it secret. But I'll be honest with you. If I'm the bad guy in this situation and I'm them, because this is what you got to do if you're an investigator to bust the criminal. You got to put yourself in their shoes and think like the bad guy. I'm telling them it's gone. I said it before. I don't know why they would miss the opportunity. Because they got the perfect excuse to sit. You can't blame it on this administration. They're going to say, man, this stuff we come to find out this stuff has been gone for decades. What's anybody going to do about it? If you can get pissed off, what's anybody going to do about it? When I say most of the people involved in it are all dead and gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, yeah. They're going to say, yeah, there's something you could do about it. You can cough up all your gold. Just like the Vietnamese are saying. Everything but your wedding rings. We'll let you keep them. But everything else extra, we need it. We need it to back our currency or our country's dead. That's going to be the threat. They're going to guilt trip everybody. Why would you miss this opportunity? You get to steal all the gold in Fort Knox, and literally the lemmings are going to sit there and say nothing. And then you're going to turn around and going to tell them to give us their gold to save the day. And most of them are going to do it. Unless they wake up out of this trance. They're going to do it because they're going to threaten them jail time. And history is going to be repeating itself in some ways here. Let's go to USPS. They're reporting a decline. I know it sucks. This place is falling apart, but I'm reporting on what it is, man. Even parcel volume is in decline. They've lost 9 billion. Yeah, what happens there? You stop delivering the mail? Let's go to Snap. They've said that anybody that's on Snap now is going to have to reapply because of all the fraud. But look here, in terms of the fraud, somebody had a $50,000 EBT card. How is it even possible? Someone had a $50,000 EBT card. You don't think they weren't out there hustling off the stamps off that selling them off left and right and this and that. They could have sold it for, man, are you kidding me? These people easily were making like $10,000-$20,000 every month to sell them half price to other people. $50,000 on their EBT. That is just insane. Another person getting benefits from 6 different states. And then people that are dead, that have been dead, got checks going out to them all over the place. Yeah, you need to clean that up. Yeah, those things need fixed. Yeah, the leeches need knocked out of the system. But this better not be a thing in the end where people that need this end up getting denied because of some stupid stipulation. Because I'm going to tell you, they've wrecked this economy. And to start denying people that need it is some garbage. Because I've seen people out there suffering all over the place. And it's because of the climate. You know, it's not a lack of not wanting to get out there and do nothing. I know people that work full-time jobs, overtime, and everything else. Some of you out there listening and still can't make ends meet. You know how rough it is out here. So, look at this one. A record number of young women want to leave the United States. Are you kidding me? Like, but here's the thing. Like, and some males want to go too, but a record number in terms of the young women. But people are seeing the tyranny here, the tyrannicalness. It's starting to show its fangs. Like, this place is going to get out of control. But there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, man. There's nowhere better. There's no running down the Caribbean and some islands down there where it's what? That's about to become a hot war zone. Lowrider brother, thank you for the coffees, my man. Stay blessed. Brother, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support, man. You are the wind beneath my wings, man. It's a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? When I don't know, when you guys give me feedback, emails, and all that, and just the words, the kind words, man, it helps. I thank you for that. It definitely helps. You know, it's like a fighter. It's out there swinging in a fight, and it goes to the corner. You know, after a round, and it's like you need some. Here, the coaches give you some words of encouragement. These women need some words of encouragement. Like, everything's going to be all right. Like, we need to stand here and we need to actually defend our base. We need to stop being pacifist all the way through and through. We need to stand our ground, man, and stand for something here and not get ran out. I don't know where you think you're going to go. Seriously. You're going to go up into Canada? Give me a break. Way more tyrannical there. I mean, where are you going to go? To another country that doesn't even have nowhere near as much rights or freedom? They've already been broke down. Where are you going to go? Seriously, going to go to Germany? Infiltrated with migrants? All those countries are. Over there. France. Ireland. Don't even look like Ireland no more. It sucks. Look what's happened to our brothers and sisters in the UK. I've got a story coming up here in a second that's kind of opposite of this, that flips things, which is very interesting. I told you earlier, but the UK. But you ain't going to Mexico, I don't think, unless you want chopped up in pieces by a cartel. I mean, where are you going in Central America? Where are you running to? You gonna run out of Costa Rica? Surrounded by some Trinidad, huh? Colombia, which is on the hit list now, Trump's hit list. Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, all of them. It's about to pop off in that aspect, but I just don't see where anyone's running to. I mean, you find some oasis out there. Let me know. But last I checked, even in lockdowns, all these places out there were bending the knee. And I don't feel like going to Norway, moving to Norway or whatever, where it's super cold all year. So, all right. So, here is the H-1B visa scam. I played the clip last time. If you guys missed it, basically Trump's getting mauled by Laura Ingraham, and she's like, "Yo, man, like, why do you got to bring in all these foreigners? Why can't you just have Americans?" And he basically dogged Americans, saying that we do not have the skill. He said that you cannot take somebody off the couch here in America and train them to do a new job in a warehouse, which is ridiculous. Yes, you can. Well, yes, you can. Anyone can. He didn't even give him a chance.
President Trump is facing backlash from some Republicans over his support of H-1B visas. So the program allows U.S. employers to temporarily hire foreign workers for specialty occupations. And last night on Fox News, President Trump pushed back on the idea that the U.S. already has enough talented workers. Let's take a listen.
Thousands or hundreds of thousands
I agree,
of foreign
but
workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here.
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't.
So you're going to bring in a bunch of Indians that don't have no education, no talent neither. Enough education to run a gas station. That's all you've been doing. I mean, what? You're not talking about rocket scientists here. He's talking about factory workers, man. It's factory workers. It's ridiculous, man. Like something's got to give here too. Like if people have got to take advantage of job openings when they happen here, they have to. They absolutely have to. When they're wiping out all these migrants and taking them out of here, and there's certain jobs opening up, people have got to hop on top of them, because it's going to be a very short time. A lot of those jobs are just not even going to be there. You got to get it while the getting is good. I'm telling you, AI is going to wipe everything out. It makes me sick that he sits there. I'm going to play it again. His reaction. Like, she's like, "We've got talent here." He's like, "No, you don't." Like, dude, you piece of... Like, dude, like, you're a piece of... You talk about all of us Americans like that. Like, we're garbage. Like, we're worthless. That's your Gentile Messiah. That's what you voted for. Yeah. I'm sick of it. Yeah, he disgusts me. I'm sick. I'm sick of the whole thing. I'm so sick of politics. I don't know how long you're supposed to cover this stuff and do this and be hip to the whole thing's a sick charade and carry on without being disgusted.
Listen.
Thousands or hundreds of thousands
I agree,
of foreign
but
workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here.
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, "I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles." Or
President Trump pointing to the recent immigration rate.
Dude, that's just, again, it's ridiculous. I can't stand him. I know he's here to destroy this place. He said it. Came out of his own mouth. I don't need anyone else to speculate. I don't need to guess. He said it. Mar-a-Lago court's going to put it in stone. He was selected to come through and reset this place. He said it. Okay? And last I checked, the big global reset has not happened yet. And they're still pushing it. I just did an update on the World Economic Forum here recently in a video clip where the lady's sitting there calling out all this stuff of what they want. They're going to phase out all fossil fuels. A huge shift is about to come. You know what that means? Phasing out fossil fuel oil is no longer needed nowhere. You know what that means, don't you? A whole new technology is about to be rolled out. only thing it can mean. And they said it. It's all going to go bye-bye. You don't need it no more. Then you can't get rich off it no more. The oil barons of Saudi Arabia, even Venezuela, all this oil that made you rich, well, it's because it was based on a system that needed it. When you have a brand new system after a reset that does not need it, it's over. It's a waste. You don't need it. It's just that simple. I'm telling you, when anti-gravitics and propulsion and all that's rolled out for the beast system, you don't need none of this. You just don't need it. Look, she said it bold, clear. They're phasing out fossil fuels. What else does that mean? Everyone's walking everywhere? I doubt it. Okay, so I don't know. On to the next one. We installed 26 gigawatts of power from January to August this year. And thank you, Steve, for the memberships. Everyone that got them, welcome to the underground. This power that we're generating was done mostly through solar. I'm telling you, if like to go off grid, solar is the way to go. I don't know much about the wind, but I've read horror stories about it and all this other stuff. And it doesn't generate nowhere near as much in return for the money spent. You might as well have got you a few more panels and you have generated more power. Or, if you're by a river, hydro is key too. If you've got control of all that and can set something up like that. But that's hard to come by. Nuclear is the other big option, and they're pushing it big time. It's growing larger and larger. They're talking about putting little nuclear reactors all over the place in this country, all over the place. I've reported on at universities, even next to all these little AI stations that are being built, data centers, which the price of electricity continues to rise. You look at this chart. U.S. monthly nominal residential electricity price just continues to rise. Right there, just uphill. I don't see how it's going to get any better at this point. So everything that they plan to do from here is going to be sucking the life out of the energy that we have. How do you fix this problem? I'm serious. Like, stop and think about it for a second. In the current system that we're in right now, you quickly realize this is not sustainable. Like, this is coming to an end. Like, there's no way we hook up all these data centers and all this AI. There's no way. This grid can't do it. Notice how they're making the AI centers build their own power plants on site. Meaning that if the grid does go down or collapse, they're still running. I think that is a key thing to note. Because a collapse is coming. This thing's coming down. That's why they're doing it. Doing it right in front of your face. They're doing everything that you would do in order people to do if you were going to bring this thing down. Especially the places you need most. You'd, by executive order, you would, like Trump did, you would order them to make their own power station. And even use coal if they want. Anything that they want. He gave them any option that they wanted. So coal is opening back up in this country. All this other stuff, but still electricity prices are going to the roof. How do you stop it all? Well, free energy. You know how they're going to pitch all this stuff? Just as we've warned you, that you're not going to need a vehicle no more. So you don't have to pay for car insurance. You don't have to pay for the vehicle. It's going to be like a public transit. And it is going to be based off the anti-gravitics and all this stuff. So you're not going to be able to just take one of these things and go wherever you want. It's going to be set almost like on a road in the sky, in a set place, controlled, where they control everything. It's gonna be the beast, and they're gonna have high technology, but everything else is gonna be useless, man. Cars are gonna be useless, if not completely outlawed or phased out over time, and then outlawed. I mean, you have to replace public transit, complete cities, with this new technology. I mean, the way you think about it, though, in an inner city right now, a lot of what the train system uses is electric, right? It's not even, it's not the old school coal powered, or anything like that. But I don't know, man. Something's got to give here. This one says people are starting to revolt against the data centers. They're waking up to it. They see the rising utility costs. Everything's rising. I've said it before, man, but I feel like, I don't know. If you really wanted to do this, you would have already done it. Add solar to your house. Mix it in. If you get a little solar system, it's going to help mitigate the damage, I'm telling you. Big time. If not, it's going to end up taking out a huge chunk of all the time of your bill, where you're just barely tapping into the grid. I'm telling you. Because people out there can exist and live and function off grid, complete solar, nothing else. And more and more people looking into it. Where we at here? I feel we're already past an hour in. All right, so, okay. Let's jump into jobs. We've got Ford CEO saying that he cannot find 5,000 mechanics for 120,000 a year jobs. This is crazy. Like, what is going on? Where are people at? What is happening here? So this guy has 5,000 openings at Ford, paying 120,000 a piece, and can't fill them. It takes some skill. You gotta know what you're doing. Yeah, but like, what is it again? Like, Americans are dumb? Like, I don't get it. Like, this is, I don't. Jobs like that sitting around, floating around out there, people will be like putting in resumes and gunning for, but like, I don't know what people are doing. Here's what's happening though. Wendy's is shutting down. Like, everywhere. Everywhere is shutting down. Everything is like slow motion decimation. Wendy's set to close hundreds of locations in 2026 due to decline in sales. Yep. Well, I'm just going to update on this real quick. Diddy Combs investigated by LA Sheriff's Department over new sexual assault allegations. I hope they hit him hard. That's all I could say there on that. I had that one misplaced. That's why I just went ahead and reported on it. Pepsi abruptly shutters a 60-year-old Florida factory and lays off 500 workers as sales slump. So Wendy's wiping everything out. Pepsi, staples. These places are staples. Known, big, huge names, companies in this country. They're all getting crippled. Getting crippled. What's this one? Corporate bankruptcies on pace for a 15-year high as more isolated incidents occur. Bankruptcies through the roof. It's just nonstop. New York. Their business nightmare begins. You've got all kinds of people pulling out of there. And they got a legendary restaurant taking 3 of their eateries out of there. All because of this Mom Donnie. I'm telling you, this is huge. Ton of people are like, dude, we're not even messing around. Like, they're out. They're leaving big time. People didn't mess around in California neither when things started to get crazy. They left and they went to Texas. But the problem is with Texas is the Muslims are setting up with the Sharia law down there big time. Big time. And if you ain't watching your tail, patriots, whoever's down there, like, you're going to end up in court for a speeding ticket, and it's a Sharia court. You're going to have a rude awakening. Texas. Like, straight up working on being the next NYC when it comes to that. Or Dearborn. For real. It's like, some of the crap's like semi-shocking. But like, the people are just sitting back doing nothing. So that's why they're getting away with it. These dark factions of alphabet gangs will support the infiltrators. That's treason. And they'll support them coming in here against you. Will never help you. So, Mom Donnie was a setup. How did he even get in there? How did they allow it? How did Trump and all them or anyone like that or anyone against it, how did you not see it coming? Well, they did see it coming. And they just kind of let it happen. I watched it. Like, there was a last minute push by Trump, like, oh, go vote for Cuomo. Like, half-assed, half-hearted, like last minute. And it wasn't nothing. It wasn't a real push. And the people were already had enough of Cuomo. Couldn't spend the money to get a fresh face in there to counter him. I mean, you're willing to spend money to take out people like Thomas Massey in your own group that just want answers on pedophiles, but you can't primary somebody else. Like, oh, they make me sick, man. So consumers under this Trump economy here, they're ditching restaurants and they're going for groceries. I don't know. Well, maybe it's finally catching up. This has been the way I live, period. Could afford to eat out for forever now. Even with the groceries, the prices are tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, steaks, huge. Meat, all that is a huge thing here. And I mentioned this before, the price going through the roof, it doesn't look like it's going to slow down any. And, well, looky here. This is a good one. This is an article talking about how there's a whole group of people that actually back using ticks as a bioweapon openly to get people to stop eating meat. Yeah, because there's a known tick-induced meat allergy that's out there. They know this. And this all goes back to Plum Island and years ago. But they're like openly saying that, like, no, like the people are backing this. That they want people to stop eating meat. So if they get bit by this stuff, it's going to just go down that trail. It's going to force people. And when you've got higher prices and you've got stuff like this all happening, it's going to force people to eat less meat. Much love to you. Yeah, Lone Star Tick. And it's, I don't know, man. This whole thing's a setup. We've known about this for years, man. But this is the spread of AGS, or alpha-gal syndrome. It's a tick-borne allergy. And it's an allergy to mammalian meat. Eating any mammal meat. Now, there's a shot that you can go and get that helps counter this, to get you back on track. And people that are battling Lyme disease got to go through all this stuff. But there's a whole group of people here that back this being used as a weapon against people to get them to stop eating meat. It blows my mind. They're backing this as a weapon openly. Yeah, I wonder if Gates is connected too. I mean, openly releasing mosquitoes and experiments and all this other stuff, and then snatching up all the farmland. And here's one. It shouldn't be too big of a shocker, but this whole thing begins. The auto industry, they are poised to lead the first wave of adoption of humanoid robots. Here it is. So I told you, Ford and all these other factories and companies, they're wiping out the human jobs. Okay, here is the replacement. And they're straight up telling you the auto industry is like the first casualty. Right here. Yep. Optimus going to be rolling in. And they've already started in Tesla's Fremont, California factory. And this is going to spread to Texas. And they had this meeting here where they were talking about the trajectory of all this. And it's here. It begins. So every single new facility that gets built from here, and any updates, any upgrades to any of these auto giants, is all going to be formulated to add in a robot. If it was a human that was grabbing 2 suction cups and picking up a door and sticking it onto the vehicle on the assembly line, well, guess what? Not anymore. Not anymore. It's over. The damage that this is about to do within 5 years' time, by 2030, is going to be, it in itself could make this place a Great Depression. Straight up. How could it not? How could it not? This is going to wipe out jobs. People are going to be homeless, put in the streets. They're not going to be able to afford to buy anything. That's going to kill the economy. The whole thing's going to come down. Well, you're not paying the robots. Robots aren't going out to the grocery store and spending money. No. They cut all that out. So they kill it all. Like, this is not good. Their only justification, the answer in the end, is to put us on universal basic income. They keep bringing it up. This is crazy, man. Auto industry. I would not even dare, unless you're going to go thorough in what you're going to do in the auto industry. I wouldn't be advancing, trying to get a job there, like an assembly line or anything a robot can do. Now, I will say this, though. In terms of being a mechanic or something like that, you're always going to need a mechanic. All right? You're going to need someone that can get into tight spaces and do things these robots are just not going to be able to do underneath the hood, under a car, everyday setting, that just a human can do quicker and always will be able to do. Get in there, do all types of stuff. These things can do certain things, but certain things is still way hard for them to do compared to a human. So, like, mechanics are going to be needed until they phase out the vehicles. And then think about what I said there, what that lady said. They're taking out the fossil fuels. So all the technology's got to change. Then not only the vehicles, but the aircraft, like everything. Well. Then they combine. Yeah, there's no more planes. They keep falling apart and falling out of the sky. You wonder why. There's going to be no more vehicles. They're going to combine them to one craft. And you already know what it is. It's your basic UFO, anti-gravitics craft that zips around everywhere. Your Jetsons vehicle or whatever. And again, I don't see them letting the majority of the masses buy them. I see them setting up. I see them being almost like a Tesla that you hop in and like you let it know your destination and it takes you there. Like public transit. You won't own it. If you need to ride back to the house, there'll be one there. And take vice versa. This is why they say you won't own anything and you'll love it. Do you see what's happening? What does this one say? Icing on the cake, right? The labor demographers issue a warning. They say that college-educated people are an oversupply. The oversupply is here. Huh. Oh, isn't that what we humans just wanted to hear at this point in time? Yeah. All you humans with college degrees, you're an oversupply. We don't need you. That is exactly what they are saying. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is just madness, man. Oh man. So all these people coming out of college or still in college, imagine somebody just going in, thinks they're going to get out in 4 years, living in La La Land, thinks they're going to get this job when, oh, no way. You'd be setting someone up for disaster to let your kid go into college at this point. Cannons, much love. Protected places. Well, I'm trying to keep it pushing along here. Trump, he said before he's going to try to hand out $2,000 checks to everybody that wasn't rich because this tariff thing sucks. But that's going to be like taxable and all this other crap and like garbage. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's like nothing. It's not just like the little lifelines they were throwing during lockdown, trying to throw people little checks or whatever. Like, again, it's the start of universal basic income. You do not need to be depending on lifelines from the freaking government, like in everything, down every avenue. So here's another instance. Trump's talking about giving direct payments to the people. Now, the way these things work out, their plans, I'm going like, oh, well, how could this work out bad? Well, it could work out bad like this, because look what he's doing. He's talking about taking all this money and giving it back to the people so the people could then go and buy health insurance. Okay? Now, he's saying he's doing this because he's going to take it away from all these health insurance companies that are just getting all this money. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you just take the money and you give it right back to the people, and they're going to turn around and give it right back to the insurance company, then what was the point? Insurance company is still getting the money in the end. There's no other way around it, right? I mean, you're gonna pay for the service or you're not. It's all about who's paying for it. This is why it goes to Canada and other countries out there. They got a healthcare system that's set up that's like no one has to worry about it. Like if you have to go to the hospital, like go to the hospital, you don't get a bill for it. Like it's whatever. If you want to have some kind of other, I guess, specific stuff done, like cosmetics or something, like maybe you got to pay for that. But like emergencies and things like that, checkups, like covered by the state, you don't have to pay for nothing. But like they don't ever talk about that. He wants to wipe out or overhaul Obamacare. And if he does it, what do you think it's going to be called? Trump care. The worst part about Obamacare was the fact that they mandated that you had to buy something. Like never in my life, the Gestapo government come along and say, oh, you got to buy this. And you got to do this. Like never. But when it came to that, they did. So people complained so bad. It's the first thing Trump did away with his first administration. So he's never had a real fix to it, though. You know, but we've got a man stabbed in broad daylight in Times Square in Mom Donnie's NYC. get used to this because this is probably what's going to happen from here on out. In Staten Island, they're renewing a push to secede from NYC. So not only are people running and fleeing, okay, you've got Staten Island like taking this serious. Like, we want to secede. We don't even want to be a part of it no more. Where are they going to go? On their own or in with New Jersey? Like, what's going to happen here? They're serious about this, though. When you've got like whole regions like Brooklyn, Staten Island, all these areas, like they're like, see ya. Like, is it even New York anymore? Like, they tear it in two. Maybe the big main island is always going to be the big main island. That, man, you know it's bad when Staten Island's like renewing pushes to like flee. Now, Trump says he's got a plan to meet with Mamdani to try to work something out. Like, what are you going to work out with him? What are you going to work out with him? Really, like, we'll see here. You've got other people like John Voight pleading to Trump, begging him to like get him out of there. And others, but like, I don't know, man. This feels like a setup. They let him walk right in there like they didn't care, and then when they act like they care, I don't know. I ain't liking the feel of this.
Taken over New York City is a Muslim that's going to take down the city that never sleeps, the city of life's dreams, this city that our ancestors brought forth in prosperity and greatness and liberty. This city will turn into a forbidden place of darkness. The blood, sweat, and tears that the city of New York was built on will turn into a virtual refugee shelter for the radical Muslim ideology. This is now the most dangerous time for our citizens of New York. This mayor will destroy this city. We are obligated to demand our rights for our private sanctuary, our businesses, our property that we all have worked so hard for. And this 35-year-old mayor has no right dictating the rules of socialism for a city built on our highest principles with brick and stone by hardworking Americans. This must be stopped, and his mayoralty should be terminated immediately. You, the people of the greatest city, New York, are in danger of losing your city to this communist fool. We, the people, must stand for the greatest nation's purpose, the honor of our flag, the red, white, and blue, and for which it stands, one nation under God, and liberty and justice for all. This country, the United States of America, is the land of our greatest achievement, the American dream. And we, the people, have put our trust in the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He and only he can stop this horror, as this Mayor Mamdani will try to destroy New York's wealth and turn it into a socialist crap city. Let this be a warning to the people, and may God bless. May God.
Well, that was a pretty, love Voight or hate Voight here with his message. He's trying to get to Trump like, you got to do something here because it's all going to be gone and lost. And he wasn't reading off the script there. He was coming off he was coming off the head. That was right out of it. He wasn't reading off nothing there. He was laying it down there. Like, you do something or this place is gone. And I mean, what's Trump going to do? Sick his ice and his National Guard on him or something? Like, what are you going to do? Literally, like the corrupt leadership in these other places like Chicago or whatever, like you haven't removed them. They did. I will give ICE props here for running this Operation Dirtbag out of Florida, and it cracked down on all kinds of sex offenders and got them rounded up. So all these kids, they're busting them left and right. left and right.
I'll talk to you in a minute. We're going to come right back.
Left and right, all over the place. $150 sexual predators. So it's always good to see getting them off the streets. That's for sure. Now, you may not know, but the chaos has now turned to a new city. Yep, a new one. We got a new one to add to the list. We're talking about Chicago, and we've talked about California and Portland, DC, even Memphis, and that. But now, Charlotte in North Carolina. Front line with the action here. ICE moving in. Apparently, they've got an influx of migrants, and the police are springing out in the middle of traffic and trying to get these people, all types of stuff. You'll see here. I'll play a couple clips.
As news of Border Patrol operations spread, so did the crowds. ICE out of Charlotte now! Community groups, families, and longtime activists all packed into Uptown, saying they fear what this could mean for their neighbors.
And we're here to say that we will not tolerate this and that we demand Border Patrol leave our city immediately.
Protest organizers say what's happening in Uptown Charlotte is a part of a national pattern, and they believe the public can make a difference.
It's not a coincidence that Border Patrol was forced out of Chicago. It was through a mass movement of people demanding that they leave, and so that is what we're doing here today.
Among the crowd, protesters hoping to send a message of support to immigrant families.
I'm here to tell our immigrant community that I stand with them, along with thousands and thousands of others who know that they have been contributing to our community, to our culture, to our education, to our business community.
One struggle, one fight. Others say the news hit differently when it came to their city.
This time it's in my backyard. And I'm watching it on my feed, people dying on my feed and being stolen on my feed just every day.
Okay, when you hear those chants, no justice, no peace, and things like that, those are the same George Soros chants, but a little bit of the action you'll see right here.
Hey, they chasing the Migos.
Like at first they could see or hear you or anything else, and they're screaming like that, like I don't know, madness all over the place. This is Charlotte now, so just it's happening. It's happening in the different cities. I told you it was going to spread from city to city. Now you're seeing it all unfold. Now we do need these people rounded up, but it's happening in a chaotic fashion sometimes. No other way around it. All right, so let's talk about some Charlie Kirk for a second. You know, I've seen so much propaganda pushed since he's been, removed from the picture, so to speak. I've seen so much propaganda using his wife in this Turning Point USA and like using it like it's I don't know, kind of like how they whipped up the whole Trump movement and there was Trump rallies and all these people, they had to have a place. They had to have a place for all these people to rally and to gather and to feel like they're a part of something. And that's what they did with the Trump rallies. Well, then that whole thing is fizzled. It died out. I told you, like once Trump is like elected, there's no reason to really have Trump rallies. Like some diehards can meet up on the weekend and go, hang out on the weekend, whatever, and toot each other's horns and go that route with it. But like the whole movement has been cracking and dying. It's like they needed a shift of something different. And Turning Point and the whole Charlie Kirk thing, that was it. That's exactly what it was. That And it's like not even with Charlie Kirk's gone. It's like hijacked by I'm gonna get any skins. I feel like every single person that took over his show was part of the hijacking. This whole thing with the PA shooter with Trump, we done discussed the whole thing with the ear piercing event. And have gone looking for the scar on the ear and everything else you could think of connected to this stuff. And it all goes back to the same crap that there seems to always be a connection to an alphabet gang somehow, some way that has some kind of dark connection to events. All too much. When things don't start to add up, at all, and they should, and like they don't make sense, and like when it really seems like leadership is lying through their teeth, there's a problem. And people out here just simply cannot stand Kash Patel at this point, because it really began when he came out and flat out said there was nothing going on with the Epstein case, that no one was trafficked. And him and Bongino both tried to come out and look at everybody with a stone cold face and tell them there was nothing, when we already knew that there was people like Prince Andrew and more, and Larry Summers and others that are known. Like, what do you mean there's none? Like, people just were like, dude, this guy just lied straight to our face. Yeah. And he just did it again. But all you guys that voted for Trump, you voted for this, right? Okay. So Tucker Carlson came out and did an expose, and he exposed, and he was right. He exposed that Thomas Crooks had a big social media footprint online, and like was easy to find. And this countered what the FBI said in the narrative that they were pushing. So then Patel comes out and says he acted alone. But you see, in this instance, the only thing that he could say is that, what's he going to say? Oh, yeah, he was working with a corrupt agent. Oh, yeah? Agent to what agency? The one you're running? You ain't never going to hear that. They'll sit there and lie to your face first. And that's what they're doing. So, we won't get any details in terms of some of the stuff. Like I said, he with the whole Epstein thing, just mind-blowing. Just would say, oh, nothing ever happened. No one was ever trafficked. No girls were trafficked. No one outside of just Epstein. Epstein was bringing them all for himself. That's what he said. Ridiculous. Again, when we know Virginia Giuffre, Prince Andrew, he's not even Prince no more. He got stripped of it. The royal family has done found him guilty and stripped him of his titles, son. And you want to say it didn't happen? Get out of here. It's pathetic. It's a disgrace. Like, he needs to resign. Just have another goon take place, right? You wouldn't want Big Mike to step up and fill them shoes, would you? Well, we've got a couple people here talking about that they will or they won't run for office. And Michelle Obama saying she's not going to be one of them. So just remember that. I want to put it out there in case Michelle comes out of nowhere, dark horse, next election. Even though she's saying she's not going to, it's still a possibility on the table as far as I'm concerned. But Ted Cruz saying that he's going to try to run. That means a showdown with J.D. Vance, right? Well, who knows? Maybe those two run together. And that's the whole ploy, but...
Some news. Axios led its morning newsletter.
I got a piece here on him. I think he admits it here. He says he's going to run.
Some news. Axios led its morning newsletter with this headline: Scoop, Cruz eyes 2028 run. Senator Cruz, where are you on that?
You know, reporters are going to write headlines that get clicks and get eyeballs. I got a job. It's representing 31 million Texans, and it's fighting every day for 31 million Texans. And I'll tell you right now, the wins we are getting are historic. The one big beautiful bill you were talking about just a minute ago, I was blessed to write major portions of that.
Yeah, he tried to like kind of nonchalantly blow it off. Oh yeah, he's going. Even Trump, I think, was asked about it here.
There was some news this morning from an Axios report that Senator Ted Cruz was laying the groundwork for a potential 2028 presidential run. Could I get your reaction to? Could you see yourself supporting Senator?
Well, he's a friend of mine. I mean, you know, I haven't spoken to him about it. It's a little early. It's 3.25 years. It's a long time, but he's a very good guy. He's a very good friend of mine. You remember we had quite a campaign against Ted, and it worked out quite nicely. Let's see, where are we? Oh, we're there. But I'm not that surprised to hear that.
Whatever that was. But he said he's his friend, of course, on the same team. Nobody bends the knee like the GOP. I seen that slogan, made me laugh. Made me think of Ted Cruz. Guess you can hop on a flight and go over to the wall. Lick the wall, huh? Look, here's Fetterman. He was hospitalized because he took a fall near his home. He took a hit, man. He's a goofball, man. He makes me laugh more than anything. It's almost like comedy. I don't take him serious as no politician or anything like that. It's more like he's just a funny character, man. And like, he's quirky, like, and just stuff like this. I mean, he bites it, has to go get stitches and everything else, but just a goofball, man. Definitely don't take him serious, but I don't even think he takes himself serious. He's a Democrat, but not a Democrat, but is a Democrat, but acts like a Republican. And I don't know, man. I just thought he took a pretty hard fall. We've got the FEMA chief resigning tonight, like abruptly, which kind of raised some eyebrows, like why? So the acting FEMA chief, David Richardson, just quit. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and just makes you wonder with indictments and all this other stuff. There was even talk of them taking FEMA, the agency, out and replacing it with something else. And they say this about all types of stuff, but I'll believe it when I see it. Okay? Now, there's also a lot of talk of guys going to jail, women going to jail, Hillary for prison. It never happened. Okay? James Comey, he's on chop and block, one of the first here to go into court. And I said before, like, I believe it when they go to jail and I see it. What do we have here? A judge says that the government or government misconduct by the DOJ prosecutor may have tainted the Comey case. Which means that it would make it all corrupt. It would get thrown out and he would walk for it's stupid stuff like this. Much love, Sharon. It was going to walk now because some stupid technicality. Like, come on. Like, this is a mafia. This is how it goes, man. So let's get into the Epstein stuff. We've got Thomas Massey from Kentucky. He's been calling this out the whole time. He's been taking shots big time from Trump the entire time. Like, Trump just steamrolled him. Rand Paul tried to step up next to him and defend him, and like he was catching shots and he like laser eyes anywhere, you know. Trump just going off And it's like, why? Why are you so defensive about it there, Don? He looks guilty of sin, you ask me. Trying to watch somebody like a criminal or someone that's guilty of something, he acts guilty because these are all points in times that he's not on a teleprompter. He's all off the cuff. And his responses are they're priceless because you can see it in him. He squirms. Especially, I've never seen, if there's one subject in the world that ever makes Trump squirm, I mean, bad, it's Epstein. For sure. And you wonder why. I mean, there's video clips of him with his children with a pedophile. Going back decades. I mean, back when Ivanka was young, Don Jr. were young, standing right there sitting next to a convicted pedophile. And Trump at party after party after party after party after party, and he's in footage. You can see his grotesque mannerisms, looking at women's bodies, biting his lips, smacking his hands together, and like whispering in Epstein's ear. And you know it was some dirty stuff, dirty enough to make him keel over. That's Trump to me. I see him for what he is. He is that. He is that individual. Dirty piece of scum. And he has everything to do with all this. And you already know it. Like I said, most of the most damning evidence of Trump is already out there. What do you mean? Was he at the island? Was he there? He's already in photos and all this other stuff at these in video at these parties. Like, get out of here. Like, somebody says, man, can we just get on with it? Like, just spill the beans already. Well, maybe some cats are about to get thrown under the bus. It really feels like it. Like I said with Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew Fergie, they're really the first casualties in this big time in terms of like people taking hits, blowback on this. There's more coming. Someone's got to take the fall. There's got to be other names. It's the only way out of it at this point. It's the only way out of it. Look, they almost had this thing buried, like gone, swept under the rug. I can't believe they even resurrected it again, even allowed it. But it's back. And Trump is like, his hands are tied on this, like here, because, well, let me play the Schumer clip real quick. And Schumer does the same thing as many of the politicians do. He deflects. They ask Schumer, why did you not release the Epstein files before Trump got in there then? Why didn't you do it when you had 4 years to do it? He completely deflects and takes it the other way and spins it back around on Trump. Like, watch how he does this.
Okay.
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released? When you don't want something like this released, when even a whole lot of Republicans are calling for the release, his own party members, people ask the question, what's he hiding?
See how he switched it?
Releasing the files.
See, he switched it up? He thinks he's slick. Well, that's the question everybody wants to know. What's he hiding? He totally changed it. That's not what he asked. That's not the question everybody wants to know. He asked you, why did you guys not release it? And you switched it to like, that's the question. See, he's like a master at doing that. He totally morphed the whole thing. He took what the guy said, said, that's the question everybody wants to know. And the guy asked, why didn't you release it? He says, that's the question everybody wants to know. Why are they hiding? He changed it. He completely changed it. Like, it's black magic, man. These guys are the professionals, the pros at it. And like, he's dead. He's looking at the guy like, oh, got you. Done. Next. Like, wow. So, in a what they call surprise reversal, Trump now supports the GOP releasing the Epstein files. Why would that be? Why would that be? I got an idea. A little bit of an idea why it would be. Let me play one of these clips here first.
Carlson recently had a friendly interview with anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Tucker Carlson. What role do you think Tucker Carlson should play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him. We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst. You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
So, this is why Trump doesn't care. Right? Remember before Cash and them came out and said Trump was an asset. That Trump was an FBI asset. He's a little snitch bitch. He was their asset. That covers him. If he's ever caught in any porn, in anything, the feds be like, he's our asset. He was our asset. He's how we know all this stuff. That's how they're trying to play it, right? Trump comes out here now and he flips the script, and this is how he's gonna continue to push this. He acts like they planted something in there. Sevenfold, thank you. He says it. He says it right here. He slides it on out there and insinuates that, oh yeah, unless they've had time to put something fresh in there. Oh, really? Just make up out of thin air fresh photos from you in the 90s and 80s or whatever at these parties, right? Huh? Or something like that. Like, I don't think so. He's acting like if anything's about to happen, it's because they put it in there. It's a hoax and all that crap again, right? Like, he can't make his mind up whether it's real or hoax.
Well, I don't know about this, because I know nothing about it, but I understand they released like 40 or 50,000 pages already. And,
he says, I know nothing about it.
No, but I will say this. If they had, well, I don't know about this, because I know nothing about it, but I understand they released like 40 or 50,000 pages already. And, no, but I will say this. If they had anything, they would have used it before the election, okay? I can't tell you what they put in since the election, but if they had anything, you don't think they would have used it before the election?
Did you hear that? I can't tell you what they put in since the election. Come on. Yeah. Projecting, all right. Like, these guys are masters at what they do, but yeah, they're all Masons. They're all master Masonic Masons, is what it is. They're just covering. They're all politicians. He got this cat fight going with Massey and also with MGT. It went pretty hard here. The sheep broke apart. Now, I told you, Maca's breaking. It's falling apart. And I've watched several different guys out there put posts out saying Maca's done. It's done. It's fractured so bad now that there's literally multiple different camps. And now this AFAO, America First, America Only, is the new group. Thank you, Steve, so much for the support, brother. For real. So yeah, it's not just MAGA anymore. Now it's AFAO. Because it was supposed to have been America first the whole time. They were like, it's more like Israel first. And they're raising all these questions. So he went after her, calling her names and all this other stuff. But then came death threats. She starts getting calls and death threats and all this other stuff because she wants to know the truth about the pedos. I mean, look, man. This dude, man. Look at this dude, man. All the way back then was best buds with Epstein. He's like, I don't know anything about it. They released like 30 or 40,000 pages or something, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah, you don't know nothing about it. You look guilty, Trumpy. But here is Marjorie MTG here talking a little bit about this real quick, putting out there what's going on.
I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
Yeah, that's her trying to talk her way back on that. And you know, she may have some points, but she is, in my opinion, she's going to be leading this whole new faction. Her and maybe Massey, all these people that, you know, are against Trump here on this stuff, which is crazy because they were all key people to help get Trump in here. You know, and it ain't even a year in, and all of a sudden you've got this massive fracture. And it all started with this Epstein stuff. And guess what? It ain't gone away, and it's hammering away, and it's not going to go away. I'm happy to see this. Of course, anybody that voted for him is sitting over there in MAGA land's not like, oh, yeah, you're ruining my world, my fantasy world. And you need to snap out of your illusion, your black magic spell, while the economy's getting wrecked and this whole thing's falling apart. That's what you voted for, right? Well, yeah, MAGA falling apart. I love it. This just means people are waking up. That's what I love. I love it when people wake up to the illusion, to the left-right paradigm. That's what we're here trying to do. Doesn't mean go fall back asleep. They have players down every avenue. Even MTG sitting here playing this. Don't get it twisted. She is a multi-millionaire from being a politician. And if she was any kind of real threat, like that whole lifestyle, her whole life would be yanked and all that. And then if she didn't listen, then jail, set up, whatever. And then you know how it goes. Then Epstein. Here's another man that they're willing to throw under the bus. I said him before, Larry Summers. He flew on Lolita Express many times. And he's one of a lot of different people here that it's like, who are they gonna zero in on? They need a couple big names to throw under the bus to bury this thing. You know, they need a good handful of guys, like a party's worth. You know, to say like, oh yeah, these guys. And Larry Summers, man, just like Andrew. He might be catching the wrath here. But again, like how does Kash Patel explain this when he's already on record saying none of it was possible? All right, on to the UK. For my cats in the UK, I know it's late and it's hard for my cats over there to stay up this late. Much love, Crown Jewels. Anyone else? Daz. This is crazy. They're cracking down on your freedom so hard there. They've got new facial recognition vans rolling out, being used by the UK police forces, just cruising around town. Now, we've seen stuff like this over the years. I've been out in different cities covering, makes me think of Chicago. And there was another city too. Maybe it was Cleveland, where I was out in the streets live streaming, doing my thing, and like these vans start rolling around, and they have these devices that will suck all the information out of your phone, and not only that, it will kill your phone. I've dealt with that. So these vans kind of similar to that, like they're just another Fed van, but they're like watching everyone. They have AI tied into the facial recognition, and they know everyone everywhere. Like anywhere you go out in public, these things could be spying on you. I don't get it, man. Like something's got to give over there in the UK. Something big times. Look at this. This is the big one that I was saying earlier that I think is crazy. Trump is offering a lifeline to anybody in the UK that they're trying to go after. The thought criminals. He's basically saying, yo, I'm going to open the door for asylum. If you guys want to come to America to escape the tyrannical wrath of the UK, come on. Yeah, that's where this is at. And the UK also just stepped up and said that they don't support the United States' moves against Venezuela. And it's like, all right, are they really trying to pull and go another direction here fully? Anyhow, I thought that was interesting. Trump just straight up said it. He's like, look, you guys want to escape there and you want to come to America? He's like open to it. Russia is open to a Trump-backed peace talk, but Ukraine's got to open the door, and they've got to really be serious about it. This thing could go on for freaking ever. I don't know. But of course, I mean, it could be like 10 years from now. Trump's still alive. If this thing finally comes to an end, Trump would come out the shadows like, it was me, peace. Taking credit for it. In the meantime, Russia has vessels operating near Hawaii. Right there. You can see the footage. They have military vessels that close right near Hawaii. This was approximately 15 nautical miles away. Man, I thought we had like a buffer zone. There was like 100-mile boundary or buffer zone. They're definitely within it there. And there's no hiding. So it's the Russian military creeping up. They're involved with Venezuela. And obviously, we're fighting a freaking proxy war against them in Ukraine. Japan. If you don't know, Japan's got new leadership. The new prime minister, right here, Sanae is her name, Takachi. She is going to bat. Like, she is making moves here. And like something's happening with Japan. As I said earlier, 11-11, much love, y'all. Japan like you could see the whole reset get kicked off right here with Japan. Like they've installed her, and she seems to really be a puppet to play the part, to do whatever the West, whatever they want to do to initiate. So the relationship between Japan and China sinks to decades low. Like they're on the cusp of like war type of deal. And of course, they're our ally, Japan is. And United States, I feel it's like they're daring them. Like, you touch Japan and we're going to like, but the world is a stage, man. Here's another one. In Haiti, U.S. Marines protecting the embassy there exchange gunfire with gang members in Haiti. That's right there in the Caribbean. Okay, the whole Caribbean set to be a huge war front here at any moment. And in Mexico, the people can see it coming. Like, they are like revolting. It's like revolution popping off down there. Gen Z especially. They stormed the presidential palace. They went buck. Play some clips. You can see them here. You can see the people going crazy. They've had enough. They're pissed off. They don't trust the cartels. They don't trust the government. They don't trust the police. Wow, it was loud. Anyhow, the people rising and getting pissed off. Oh man, you don't even have, I just looked over and seen that Kev Bar. You ain't even got to put a warning shot out to any trolls. You see somebody just acting out of line, get them. Everyone's got freedom of speech here. But if you want to threaten someone or anything like that, but hey, we got crazy stuff going on in the world out here. I don't think it's worth bickering over smaller stuff. We've got way bigger stuff, bigger fish to fry, so to speak. Possible revolution popping off right next door in Mexico. So, and with that said, I'm gonna play a clip here, another clip here, showing some of the chaos. Yeah, so just chaos, man, down there. I see it spreading. I see it escalating. So this is Mexico now. This is Mexico. I just see it getting crazier and wilder from here. Unfortunately. All right. Well, I guess that's going to bring this show to an end for tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I want to thank those that share the stream. It's appreciated to the fullest. All those that support the stream as well. And wrap it up on that note and look to be back here on Wednesday for the next one. Again, we should have some updated images of Three-Eyed Atlas for that show, and who knows what else is going to pop off between now and then. I'm really anticipating the whole thing with the Caribbean going full scale here at any moment. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure to watch my YouTube channel. They don't like to send out notifications. And yeah, man. I'll look to be back here on Wednesday for another one. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love and God bless. Thank you to the legendary Eon coming through 7 coffees. Unlike anyone else ever, man. Legendary. Thank you, and again, thank you, Lowrider. Much love. God bless. Thank you so much, Deanne, for the coffees. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything, man, all the time. Much love to all you guys. I see you at the Herald, Martin,